was good, not great. And I really do stand by that. I do stand by this Mavs defense being good, not great. You know, you watch the Rockets, you watch the Thunder, you watch the Timberwolves, who have been really good lately defensively. Those are great defenses, the Magic. This Mavs defense is good. It locks down. It gets stops when it needs to, which is, with this offense, really all you need. But it isn't great. But offensively, man, this team is timely defense. That's a good way to describe it. This team is just clicking on all cylinders offensively. A lot of that has to do, obviously, with Luka Doncic and his performance. It's returning from a wrist injury. He did have a rough one, I guess, against the Thunder. But I'll sort of attribute that and most of that to the Thunder playing defense and also the way that they guarded Luka. You know, they double teamed him, they trapped him, they blitzed him. And I thought, even with all of that, I thought Luka did a pretty good job passing out of that, and the Mavs getting good looks off of it. But, still didn't shoot the ball well in that game, 5 of 15, whatever. We already know what happened in that game. But in this game against the Golden State Warriors, Luka, his best game of the season, far and away. 45 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists, only 3 turnovers, 3 steals, 2 blocks, went 16 of 23 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. So what is that, 10 of 12 on 2-point shots? I mean, that's the Luka Doncic that we're all accustomed to. That guy who's unstoppable when he gets 2 feet inside the 3-point line. The guy that's unstoppable when he gets into the paint. The guy that has a floater, a mid-range, a fadeaway, that turnaround shot. He can step back at the elbow, whatever the case may be. The Luka Doncic that's pretty much unstoppable. And what that opens up for this Mavericks team whenever I saw somebody made a great point about this, and I wish I remember who said it because I would love to shout them out. But Luka can bend the defense so much with the attention that he draws, with his scoring ability, with his passing ability, obviously. Now adding one of the best floor spacers in the history of the sport, one of the best catch and shoot guys in the history of the sport, and Klay Thompson, that breaks the defense. So Luka bends it. The addition of Klay Thompson breaks it entirely. And that's just kind of where we're at with this team offensively. This was the vision. When we said all offseason, like, this could be the best offense in the league. Like, at worst, this feels like a top 3 offense. That was Iztok Franco on his Substack. All right, that was Iztok on his Substack. Shout out to Iztok. I did not read his I am subscribed to Iztok's Substack. And I think it costs money, and I need to read it more, admittedly. But because I'm paying for it, so I might as well read it. But I saw his tweet where he said that. It's a great point. If Klay starts shooting 40% on 10 attempts like he can, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, and I mean, we saw this. We talked about this a little bit. Let's look at Luka's recent games. Is there a platform where this is easier to do? To look at guys' recent games and their stats in an Outlook? I love Basketball Reference, but there is, it's just like kind of nerdy. Here is where he was out for his wrist injury. Missed 5 straight games. Since then, his return. Take your time. It's all right. Take your time. No, it's all right, Basketball Reference. Keep loading. No, it's all right. I'm only streaming. In front of hundreds of thousands of people currently. But since his StatMuse is terrible. I'm sorry. I think StatMuse gets shit wrong. I do. I think StatMuse is incorrect a lot of the time. 6 games since he returned from his wrist injury, he's up to 30 points, 10.7 rebounds, 9.3 assists, 52% from the field, 42% from deep. That is the Luka Doncic that we've grown accustomed to. Yeah, Mavs played beautiful basketball yesterday. Seriously, the ball movement was exquisite. We didn't even have Najee. Yeah, so I mentioned this stat on Locked On. I think it was maybe the 6th or 7th time in the Luka era that as a team, the Dallas Mavericks had over 35 assists. Expect a very lengthy email StatMuse. Side, you see you got a shout out on the recent numbers on the board podcast. I did see that, yeah. Shout out to those guys. Love those guys. We dreamed of the days when the Mavs moved the ball like that with Luke on the floor. Yeah, and I mean, it's still, you look at the numbers here, 16 of 23 in the game from Luka. 23 shots. 13 assists. It's just a different type of basketball, man. It is. Anybody who's watched this team at all knows that. Luka's usage is down compared to where it's been in years past. His touches are down. And I do think that that's a good thing. You look at, here's just his usage numbers over the years, according to Cleaning the Glass. This is the lowest it's been since his rookie season. We're at 40% last year, 41, 42, 40, 40. Was that really his usage rate? Was it really in the 40s? Luka is finally buying into a team offense the way everyone said he needed to, and now they're saying he's fallen off. Well, I'm interested to see what his usage was last night. 36, which, again, is pretty much lower than where it's been the entirety of his career. Basketball difference usage. Yeah, that's kind of the thing whenever you use Clean the Glass, is they the way that they filter out stats and stuff like that. But there was Luka got a catch and shoot 3 in this game where I think the ball touched every single player's hands and the ball swung to Luka and he just got a wide open 3 off of it. It's just, when you have guys who can dribble and pass the ball, it's good. It's good that Luka doesn't have to do all of this stuff. It's good that Luka's not required to do everything for you offensively. I'm not sure how that was a controversial opinion. I'm not sure why people disagree with this, that it's good for Luka to be playing like this, why it's better for him, better for the team. And obviously it's just a sign of roster construction. It's a sign that your roster is better more than anything else. That's what it is. It's not like the team set Luka down and said, hey, you need to play like X, Y, and Z. Hey, you need to, if you want to go back and comb through the archives of this channel, been saying forever that this team needs to add guys who can do more shit so Luka doesn't have to do everything. Just an excuse for his poor start. I kind of think that's what it is too. The Ringer most recent top 100 list is interesting. Yeah, we looked at it a little bit last night. Many people contradict themselves when they talk about Luka Doncic. And if you didn't think this guy was capable of playing off ball or whatever, you're crazy. This guy's way too talented. And there's definitely some stuff that he should still, there's definitely some times where it's like, oh, Luka, you should have cut there. Oh, your defender's top blocking you. Why don't you just cut to the basket? And he had one of those last night. Man, I hated that we kept adding one-way players next to Luka for years until Nico stepped in. Yeah, that was the way the team was built, man. The team was built to have guys who are one-dimensional, 3-and-D guys, whatever the case may be. Hey, I'm a rim-running center. That's all I do. You got to throw me lobs. You got to throw me lobs or else I'm not doing shit. Hey, I'm a 3-and-D corner three-point shooter. I have to catch and shoot. I can't dribble. I can't dribble. The Mavs built their teams like a 2002 basketball team. He only became so ball dominant because for years the Mavs had no ball handling. Yeah, that's really it. Anybody who watched the game saw that. It was like Luka. It's like Luka needs to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, what the fuck do you want him to do? Who do you want him to get involved? Reggie Bullock? You want Reggie Bullock initiating offense and breaking guys down off the dribble? God bless him. I loved Reggie's time here. I thought he was really underappreciated by Mavs fans. Reggie Bullock. Hey, if it were up to me, Reggie Bullock would never have to buy a drink in this city. Okay. What's he up to? Did he retire? It's like what's happening with Jokic right now in the NBA, sort of. Yeah, what's funny though is everyone with Jokic is like, yeah, what do you want him to do? He's doing everything. It's great. And then when Luka does that, it's like, dude, pass the ball more. He's chilling on Block Island. All right, I respect that. He's not on a team right now. 33 years old. Remember the first 2 weeks of Jason Kidd, of Dorian posting up and role players bringing the ball up? Suddenly our offense was trash and everyone wanted Luka to go back to his ball dominancy. Reggie Bullock, Frank Ntilikina, Trey Burke, Dorian Finney-Smith need to create offense, bro. God, these rosters, dude. What the fuck were they? What the hell were they doing? What the hell were some of the teams that Luka was rolling out there with? What were some of those squads? Even when you look at their – even when you look at their conference finals team, It's like, what was going on there? That team made the conference finals? Sterling Brown, and Sterling Brown will never buy a drink in this city, if I have to say of it. That conference finals run when he would just stand on the bench, never would get in the game, but would stand on the bench with his warm-ups on, his warm-up pants on, but his warm-up top off, and he just had his jersey on with the sweats tucked in, the jersey tucked into the sweats. Oh, man. I saw a clip last night on Thinking Basketball Channel on Memphis, and he showed a Mavs clip. The roster on the floor was Luka, Dwight Powell, Ntilikina, Kemba Walker, and Dorian. Hey, man. Kemba Walker. The Mavs, so Reggie Bullock, that conference finals run, that was it. That was the end of his career. The Mavericks literally ran him into the ground that season. God bless him. We'll love him forever for it. We will love him forever for that. But Kemba Walker, too. That 30-point game against the Cavs that one night. That was it. That was all he had left. And they lost. I'm so excited we were finally free of the Mavericks for fans begging for Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond. God, man, we've had some dark times. But that's what having a guy like Luka Doncic does, though, is it allows you to be like, dude, all we need is just to be decent, and Luka can drag us to the finish line. Like, just give us Zach LaVine. Like, give us something. See, Luka learned the Kyrie handshake? Yes, Luka learned the Kyrie handshake. It's pretty fucking funny. It catches you off guard. It looks like a 2K thing. Like, you see it on 2K, and you're like, what? Luka would never do that. But Luka was incredible in this game. Klay Thompson had his best game as a Maverick in Golden State. Good to see for him. 29 points, 7 of 11 from 3. He's been getting going lately. The 3 ball has been hitting a little bit more for him. I haven't even really been dooming with Klay. I haven't thought he's been bad at all so far this season. I feel like the way people have talked about him a little bit in Mavs circles hasn't really matched what I've seen. But he's been shooting the 3 ball well lately since his return from the plantar fasciitis stuff he's been dealing with. He's 47% from 3 on 7.5 attempts per game. 16.6 points. I mean, that's what you bring him in. That's what you bring him in to do. You know, I mentioned that it's just like, it's the cherry on top of the cake for this Mavericks team. It's like they didn't bring in Klay. They didn't pay Klay. You always look at what they pay guys. They didn't pay Klay. They didn't bring him in to be the third option. They didn't bring him in, we need you to score 20 points a game or else we're not going to win basketball games. They bring him in to space the floor. They bring him in as another option the team has, as a shooter the team has. And if he's like, and also you have the threat still of him popping off for 30 points and going 7 of 11 from deep. You know? That's just the cherry on top of the cake. Can you explain how teams like Houston or Orlando can have such big jumps in regular season wins without having top-tier players? We had Luka and never had a season like that. What do you mean? I mean, the Mavericks still have won 50 games multiple times in the Luka era. I'm not sure the Magic or Rockets are going to win 50 games this year. Klay much better than this. But also, those teams are built for the regular season. And I would say the Mavericks, talent-wise, in years past, have been probably better than their regular season records would indicate. You know, look at that. But the fact that they made the finals last year as a 5 seed, they made the conference finals that one season as the 4 seed, I think they were, that postseason. Like, you know, it's the Mavs have been an underwhelming, I would say, regular season team. Luka Doncic had multiple scratches on him after the win. Physical game. So you think the Rockets will drop off? Think they are paced for top 60? We're going to talk about them here in a bit. But anyways, a really nice and impressive win for this Mavericks team, who offensively they're clicking lately. I mean, they're clicking and firing on all cylinders. So it's really good to see against a Golden State Warriors defense that was still top 5 in the league entering this game, and they've fallen back down to earth a little bit. 14-11 now for them. Steph Curry was good in this game. Of course, you know, you just have to, anytime you watch a Warriors game, you have to factor in Steph's going to have a flurry of 3 threes in a row or some shit. Didn't really happen towards the end of this game, but he was 7 of 13. I mean, the Warriors, 27 threes in this game. It was only the 11th time, 12th time in NBA history a team has made that many threes. I believe they had, 18 threes in the first half. And follow us on the broadcast, that was the most threes ever by a team and a half. And they lost. Saw you and Nick disagreed on the night. Why you don't like it for regular season games. So I didn't fully explain why I don't like it. I'm a big believer that you have to mix up your celebrations. I'm a big believer in that. That's why, I think year to year you have to mix things up. You need a new celebration. I think the standing on business from PJ, that was a great organic moment. And the night was a great organic moment. The Mavericks don't do the standing on business thing that often, which I'm happy about. If the Mavericks started to do that every game, I'm like, all right, guys, can we tone this down a little bit? Steph definitely did 9-9 against us in the 2022 Western Conference Finals, right? I couldn't remember when he debuted that. I could not remember it. Oh, the barking too. It's like, all right, you guys got to move on from barking. Warriors fans clowning PJ, but he would be their second best player. I mean, Draymond's been incredible this year in a lot of ways. So anyways, my thoughts on Kuminga, I said I have a lot of thoughts on him. He's one of the strangest players in the league to me because he'll get he had 20 last night, 20 on 9 of 15. I don't feel like he's a very impactful player at all. Am I wrong in thinking that? I don't feel like he impacts games in ways that you would want when you want to pay guys $30 million plus dollars. Like, he's going to get his stats and stuff like that. He's uber athletic, and sometimes you just bank on that. But I don't feel like he's super impactful to a basketball game, you know? He gets to his mid-range. He's a pretty nice mid-range jumper. All that's cool. His impact is very circumstantial. On matchup and touches, yeah.